This is your wake up call from Manila, and I'm your only friendly insider. You think she's whispering to her cousins about how handsome you are? You think she's telling her friends she can't live without you? Anak nang, let me tell you what they're really talking about when you're not in the room. They're running the numbers on your pension, calculating your life expectancy, and stress testing your generosity. Your whole life is a spreadsheet on her phone, Kuya. And tonight, I'm giving you the playbook to read their ledger before it empties yours. You, yes, you, the one who just landed, probably a little shell shocked from a divorce, maybe just escaping the quiet hum of an empty house back west. You're not a kid anymore. Your time is a resource, and your bank account, no matter how healthy, has a limit. You came here looking for warmth, for a smile that reaches the eyes, a second act. Instead, you've walked into a high stakes poker game where the buy in was your hope and you don't even know the rules. But trust me, everyone else at the table does. Pay attention. This is not a vacation romance seminar. This is a war manual. Every sweet text, every sudden family emergency, every tearful late night call is a strategic move in a campaign for your resources. The battlefield is her DMs and the family group chat. The currency is your time, your sanity, and your future. Make no mistake, this is a market, and you are being assessed as a long term asset or a short term pump and dump scheme. Misread the signals, and you will be emotionally liquidated before your return flight is even booked. Dating in the Philippines is like being the only tourist at a high stakes poker game in a smoky back room. Everyone is smiling, the drinks are flowing, but your chips are quietly disappearing. You think you're connecting, sharing stories, maybe getting lucky. Every question is a probe. Every shared vulnerability is a test. They are studying your tells, man. They are watching how you react to a sob story, how quickly you reach for your wallet, how much you're willing to lose just to feel wanted. They aren't just playing cards, they are playing you. This is the deal, that "you're so handsome" compliment isn't for your ego. It's table talk while she's looking at the size of your chip stack. That's the brutal truth of the provider score. You're betting your retirement on a pretty face and a promise of care. She and her family are betting on a 5-year plan where your pension is the grand prize. You're playing for the Queen of Hearts. She's playing with a royal flush of logistical needs. And you are the one funding the entire operation. It's you against the world. So you have a choice. Keep playing blind. Keep bleeding chips on hands you can't win until the one big pot takes you out for good. Or you can listen to me. You can learn the tells, understand the strategy, and start playing the game with your eyes open. No more guesswork, no more hope as a strategy. Just cold, hard rules for the battlefield you're already on. So I have to ask you before we start this manual, before I give you rule number 1, what are you really playing for? Do you want love, sex, or survival? Alright, let's map this war zone. Your first mistake, the one every new arrival makes, is thinking this is a one-on-one duel. Anak ng tokwa, you're not the only soldier on this beach. You see that other foreigner across the bar? He's not your buddy. He is the competition. He's your direct comparable. She is running your stats against his in real time. You think your connection is unique? She's running the same romantic script on 3 different guys from 3 different time zones, A/B testing your generosity and response times. So, let's be clear about what that means. When she's slow to reply, she's not just busy, she's managing her portfolio. You're the boomer with the pension, the safe, low-yield bond. The guy from Germany is the young, volatile crypto investment, and the guy from Australia is the real estate play. It's not personal, it's asset diversification. Her family isn't just counting on you, they're counting on a diversified portfolio of foreign income streams. Your heartache is just a rounding error in her quarterly report. That brings us to mistake number 2. You pay for validation. That first emergency, the 10,000 pesos for a sick auntie, the 5,000 pesos for a cousin's tuition, you thought you were being a hero, a provider. Hi, Nako. You just failed the most basic intelligence test. You didn't buy her loyalty. You bought a ticket to the next level of the scam. You've communicated that you are not a man to be respected, but a resource to be managed. You're not a potential partner, you're an open line of credit. And the consequence? You just set the price of admission. Every interaction now has a price tag, and it only goes up. You didn't stop the emergency, you funded the next one. You've shown them your weak flank, proving you're more afraid of being lonely than you are of being played. You broadcasted that a few tears and a sob story is all it takes to open your wallet. Now, the entire family's financial planning committee is drawing up a long term budget with your name at the top. All of this, the competition, the constant financial bleed, it all feeds on the one critical mistake that makes you the perfect mark. You're so terrified of your quiet life back home that you'd rather be a fool in paradise than alone in your empty house. You trade self respect for a warm body and a pretty smile. But listen to me, these are just the opening skirmishes, the little ambushes. And this is still the easy level. The next mistake I'm going to show you destroys not just your wallet, but your entire reputation. And this leads to the next fatal error. Mistake number 3. You fall for the jealousy test. The sudden appearance of a persistent ex, that overly friendly male cousin, or some random admirer hitting her up online? That's not a coincidence, Kuya. It's a deliberately orchestrated play to measure your insecurity. She's not fending off a rival, she's manufacturing a threat to see how you'll react. Will you get angry? Possessive? Will you double down on your investment to prove your worth? She's poking the bear to see if it's a beast or just a rug. Because your reaction is the whole point. If you get jealous, if you get mad, you lose. She just confirmed your emotional levers are right there on the surface, ready to be pulled. This is the pincer move. The rival creates the pressure, and your emotional response is the signal for her to apply the counter pressure of needing more comfort, more security, more commitment from you to feel safe. You're triggered into a spending spree or a premature declaration of love to win a contest you never had to enter. This is where you have to decide if you are the captain of the ship or just a taxi driver. A taxi gets called when someone needs a ride, gets told the destination, and is paid off at the end. The passenger doesn't care about the driver, only the destination. A captain, on the other hand, sets the course. He knows his destination, and no storm, no pirate, no distracting siren on the rocks can divert him. You have been acting like a taxi, available on demand for every emotional emergency. When that rival appears, the captain shows amused indifference. He's a fly buzzing on the bridge of a battleship. You don't get angry, you get bored. This isn't a game of ping pong where your emotion is the ball she gets to smack back and forth. You refuse to play. By showing you are unbothered, you communicate that your world does not revolve around her validation. You are the source of your own stability. This short circuits the entire maneuver. She has no move left to make on that board. But if you navigate this, if you pass her stress tests and don't bleed out on her financial emergencies, you graduate to the final, most insidious level of the game. They stop testing you with overt threats and start containing you with praise. They give you the one title that feels like a reward but is actually a cage. It's the last trap you'll ever see coming because it's disguised as total acceptance. The game changes completely when you stop negotiating with hope and start recognizing the playbook. Okay, enough with the diagnosis. The autopsy is over. It's time to stop describing the poison and start administering the antidote. This is the turn. This is where you stop being a case study in a cautionary tale and start becoming the author of a strategy manual. From this moment on, we are moving from defense to offense. We are installing a new operating system, a simple, brutal, 4-stage protocol that makes every decision for you. It's not a feeling, it's a flowchart. You have been a passenger on a runway to nowhere. Now, you are the pilot. Let's call this your pre-flight checklist. The first stage is the filter. Before she even gets to the gate, you run this check. Does she have a life? Not a history of ex-boyfriends and family drama, but a life of her own. Does she have a job, a hobby, a goal? Anything that generates its own momentum without your fuel. If her entire identity is a holding pattern, waiting for a foreign pilot to give her direction and altitude, she is not a co-pilot. She is dead weight. You abort. The flight is never cleared for boarding. If she passes the filter, she moves to stage 2, the test. This is where you put the airframe under controlled stress. You've seen these tests before, the no test, the non-monetary solution test. You introduce a long-term goal of your own that doesn't involve her immediate gratification. You're checking for alignment, not just compliance. Does the engine sputter when you change course? Do the wings buckle under the slightest turbulence of you having your own mission? You're not testing her loyalty, you're testing the aircraft's structural integrity before you take it to cruising altitude. Based on that data, you enter stage 3. Decide. This is not a negotiation. It is a binary command decision. Go or no go. There is no maybe. A pilot does not hope the landing gear will work. He confirms it. If she failed the tests, if the filter showed you a woman with no engine of her own, the decision is made for you. You don't try to fix the plane on the runway. You don't negotiate with a faulty engine. You ground the flight immediately and without apology. The exit is your only move. This is your new religion. Filter, test, decide, exit. It removes your hope, your loneliness, and your ego from the equation. It is a cold, mechanical process that protects your resources, your time, and your sanity. Every woman who wants a ticket on your life now goes through this exact same protocol, no exceptions. So grab a pen, write it down, burn it into your brain, because in the next act, we are leaving the briefing room. We're going live on the tarmac, and I expect you to execute this flawlessly under fire. Live exercise Kuya. The protocol is active. Your phone is about to light up, and you're going to be hit on 3 fronts at once: money, sex, and the cold, quiet dread of being alone. Think of it like ping pong, but you're at one end of the table and she's at the other with 3 paddles. She's going to serve all 3 balls at you at once. Your old self would panic, trying to return every shot, looking like a fool. But the pilot doesn't play ping pong. He watches the incoming missiles and trusts his countermeasures. Here it comes. Ping! The money shot. A message. Babe, my cousin's phone broke. She needs 8,000 pesos for a new one for her online classes. Your programming screams, be the provider. The protocol commands, test. You type back, that's tough. Send me the school's IT department number. I'll see if they have loaner units she can use. The response is instant, not gratitude, just a cold one-word answer. Never mind. You didn't return the ball. You let it fly past her head. The point is yours. The game has begun. Before you can even breathe, ping! The sex shot. It's a photo on her Instagram story. Her, out with friends, and that, just a friend, guy's arm is a little too close, her smile a little too bright. The caption, finally a fun night. This is the jealousy test, designed to make you panic buy your way back to being the center of her attention. You feel that burn in your gut? That's your ego dying. The protocol says, decide. Her tests are failing. You don't comment. You don't even watch it twice. Now comes the hardest part, the silence. The phone goes dark. No more pings. This is her ultimate weapon. She knows your loneliness is a bigger threat than any rival. She's betting that the quiet will drive you crazy, that you'll crack and text, who was that guy? Or, did you get my message about the school? This is the moment the taxi driver caves and the captain holds the line. The protocol is clear. Exit. You don't exit the relationship. Not yet. You exit the conversation. You put the phone down. You go to sleep. See, This isn't a game of reaction, it is a game of position. You lose the point the moment you are forced to react to her serve. By following the protocol, you held your position. You forced her to react to your silence. And in the morning, you will see the result: a flood of messages, a frantic change of strategy on her part. She will be the one off balance. And that brings us to the final unbreakable law of this entire engagement. He who is willing to walk away holds all the power. So let's review the commandments: filter, test, decide, exit. These are not suggestions, they are your new religion. Stop being the flower waiting to be picked apart, petal by petal, for your nectar. You are the bee. You decide which flower is worth your time, which one has actual substance, and which is just a plastic imitation designed to trap you. Access to you is a privilege, earned by alignment, not granted by your desperation. She doesn't command your flight path, you do. Remember this: the cost of forgetting these rules isn't just your money, it's your time, your reputation, your sanity. You came here seeking warmth, not to become the designated utility for an entire bloodline's 5 year plan. This isn't about being heartless, it's about having a spine. She's not playing a game of love, she's playing for survival. And if you aren't paying attention, you are not a partner in her life. You are the survival plan itself. Never forget that. Now it's your turn. Your first mission is to report. In the comments below, name the one test, the money shot, the jealousy play, the family emergency that you recognized instantly from your own life. Like and subscribe, because the intel on how they talk about your friends is even more brutal. And if this manual just saved you a 6-figure retirement fund and a decade of heartache, hit the super thanks or the PayPal link in the description. Fund the war effort. Keep this channel operational. Your final directive is for the next 24 hours. Find one small, unreasonable request, one tiny push on your boundary, and practice the simplest, most powerful word in this entire manual: no. No explanation, no apology, just no. Feel the power shift back to you. Now go out there and make them work for it. Make them prove they are worthy of your time. This is your wake-up call from Manila. Stay sharp, stay solvent.